September 20th, 2019. Let's overreact real quick, Nate Burleson and Schrager.
What do we got? Pat Mahomes, phenomenal.
Nope. Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback to ever play football in the history of football. Am I accurate?
Well, he's the greatest quarterback in New York right now.
Schrag, what are they saying in the inside sources in the source world?
The phones are saying they already got him the jacket sized for Canton. Unbelievable. This guy's the man. You're the man.
Nah, you guys are the
man.
best. Oh, I just got a kiss from a very handsome African-American man who's incredible on television, Nate Burleson. Anyways, we are live here in New York City. And that's the type of things that can happen here in New York City that can't happen in Indianapolis. For instance, there aren't other shows being filmed right next to our show in Indianapolis.
No.
Good Morning Football, they kind of run the roost here, by the way. Mm-hmm. We went into the green room, I guess it's the green room, to get our food.
Yep.
Their selection is laid out on this massive table. Ours is kind of over here hidden behind the refrigerator. And I locked eyes with a pastry that was on their particular section. Looked delicious. And I was told, no. Your guys' stuff is over there. But to be fair to our pastry section, I had a cinnamon raisin bagel. I put that thing in the toaster just right, put a little butter on there, and I'm feeling damn good. Came straight out of Get Up this morning where we talked about all things NFL, and this will be an overreaction Monday for everybody, including us. Let me tell you why. The New York Giants have a massive fan base, and it appears as if their quarterback is halfway worth a damn.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Haven't seen a guy be able to run in a New York Giants uniform playing quarterback for a long time. Normally that statue Eli's back there just getting boom, a boom, a boom. The Giants defense still stinks, though.
Yeah, terrible.
Almost gave it up to the incomparable Jameis Winston there at the end. Bruce Arians said he took a delay of game on purpose to make a 34-yard kick from the middle of the field because it's easier from back there than 29-yard kick from the middle of the field. We'll dive into that in a little bit. The Steelers stink. This is the first time Pittsburgh Steelers fans are acknowledging that their team is terrible. Let's recall, let's remember, let's remind. They got rid of Antonio Brown, got rid of Le'Veon Bell. We're better without him, they said.
Yep.
We're going to find that out. Mason Rudolph completed 2 passes past the line of scrimmage this weekend.
Yikes.
He's young. He's learning. It's only his first couple games. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe the Steelers won't be dead. We shall see. A team that's not dead, a team that's going to be in contention later, the Indianapolis Colts are great at football all of a sudden. I got a chance to swing the hammer, hit an Anvil before that game. The place was electric. It really felt like a reset on a whole new era. That entire city is rallying behind Jacoby Brissett. The entire city rallied behind the GOAT, Adam Vinatieri, who's all the way back. He banked one in, got a nice little kiss from the Lucky Charms, and that makes you feel good. The Houston Texans also good at football all of a sudden. Deshaun Watson, absolute stud. J.J. Watt still making plays. The Nuke, DeAndre Hopkins is good. The Brownies in front of the dog pound in prime time for the first time in a long time. Go ahead and grumpy all over the bed. In the last 4 series, they targeted Odell Beckham Jr. 1 time.
Questionable move.
4th and 9, run a draw. That play hasn't been called since 2007. And guess what? It didn't work then either. A lot of questions in the Browns, but I'm not out on them yet. I'm not out on the Ravens either. Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman are kind of feeling each other out to see what we can do and what we can't do. Everybody's saying the Chiefs are the answer to everything. I think so too. But the Patriots, by the way, still very good at football. It's an Overreaction Monday. 1-833-622-3331 to get involved in the action. We'll be taking all your calls. Ty and I are sitting here 50 floors up from Earth in World Trade Center 4. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to announce somebody won an Escalator as well. We'll get to that here in a moment. And live from New York, this is the Pat McAfee Show. Play some Chase Rice, will you?
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is Chase Rice. Appreciate that. Joining me is Ty Schmidt. Back in the control room, Evan Foxy's bossing people around, and Zito is yelling at people for the graphics. We're excited to be joining you here. Wherever you're listening, whether it's worldwide in Germany, Guten Tag, Ein Gross Bier Bitte is the Max German that I know.
Okay.
You could be in Italy. with the Pope. Grazie. You could be in Canada, and you could be in any one of the 41 radio stations across the United States that are broadcasting us with our fantastic partners, Westwood One. Let's get to it, though. We gave away an Escalator our first 2 weeks of doing this show.
Yes, we did.
All you had to do was watch along at home, pick up the keywords that Zito would put up on the screen, and for 2 weeks you put those phrases together into one tweet with the hashtag that we gave away, the final minute. And if you were the first person to tweet that out at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, you won a basically brand new 2017 Cadillac Escalade that had been sitting on my driveway for 2 years.
Correct.
Could be a rat family in there, and everybody knows what rats like to do. They like to fornicate. So if it's one rat, it's probably 45 rats. That's neither here nor there. We have a winner, I believe. Zito, is that an accurate statement? You picked a winner?
Yes, sir. Exactly at 1 p.m. on Friday, he tweeted it exactly, phrase for word from word. You want me to say his name now or no?
Say his name right now. Ladies and gentlemen, a little drum roll, please. This is like a $75,000 car giveaway, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is bigger than the Ellen DeGeneres show. This is bigger than Oprah. This is giving away basically a brand new car that I refuse to drive because it had too many buttons. One person's complete cluster truck is another person's treasure. Congrats to
Lucas Schultz.
Hey, that boy. Give his Twitter handle, will you please?
Yep, it is at LSHOULTZ and L Schultz.
Okay, go ahead and congrats to Lucas. Sam, my lady, is incredibly happy to get that piece of metal off of my driveway. I can't wait for you to enjoy it. I think he has a family. Zito showed me some pictures. Follow at Ville Zito. Zito will hit you up and figure out the DMs or the process, because now we got to deal with taxes and stuff. Lucas, I don't know what you signed up for, bud, but you got a new car. All right, this weekend, a lot of things happen.
Yep.
We can talk about that Washington State-UCLA game coming out of nowhere. That UCLA football team, we got a chance to call their first game against Cincinnati. They stunk at football, and they stunk the next week, and they stunk for 3 quarters, and then boom, Chip Kelly and DSR found it and got hot. And the Washington State football team, that might be the biggest loss in history of sports.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how you could throw 9 touchdowns and lose a game, but this also could be, it makes no sense. This could be the thing that turns the entire Chip Kelly regime at UCLA around. A win like that, that can change some things.
Well, and also that quarterback's a big swag kid. He's got a good following on the internet. He likes to do this. He's got a cool nickname. Is it DTR or DSR?
I believe it's DTR.
DTR, Dorian Thomas Robinson. There's no way that's his real name.
Close.
But anytime you get a big win like that, especially one that makes the headlines, if you're a swag character, that's only going to feed that. Hopefully Chip Kelly and the UCLA boys can turn it around. All right, enough college football. Calling Navy Memphis, by the way, Thursday night. It's going to be a heater. Every time Memphis and Navy square off, it is a battle.
Expect fireworks.
There's a Tiger named Tom that's going to be on the premises. Let's make sure we know that Tom the Tiger is going to be a big part of the action. It's hard for me to root for Memphis, which is the For the Brand University. Goskowski, who's from there. Jake Elliott's from there. Their kicker now is a great kicker. But Navy's a bunch of American heroes. So I'm pulling hard for the American heroes.
Hands are tied.
Don't know what to tell you. Pulling for America. So, I mean, I like Memphis a lot. Walking in Memphis, Try to keep my hero. Walking in Memphis. Feel the way I feel. I like Memphis, man. I like their color blue, too. But I feel like I have to pull for the Navy, or I'm a complete
sellout
and a
stooge,
which I will not be. Speaking of sellouts and stooges, everybody on earth right now is crowning Daniel Jones the next one. And I can understand why, because there's a little bit of hope for the Giants fans for the first time in a long time. They loved Eli Manning. Eli Manning won them 2 Super Bowls. Hey, Eli wanted to be traded there on draft night. Eli is a giant through and through, a football giant folk hero. There will be a statue of him outside the stadium. People are saying, I didn't say it, but people are saying they'll build a statue of Eli Manning at some point.
Yeah, probably 2 Super Bowls. I mean,
By the way, Archie, Mama Manning, you got to feel pretty good that you gave birth to 2 kids that are going to have statues outside of football stadiums. Peyton already got one. Eli will probably have one. But for a long time, they were ride or die with Eli Manning, these Giants fans. A long time. Geno Smith gets subbed in. They start boo. The boo birds come out. How can you replace Eli with this guy? How can you do this? Eli's done so much for us. Eli's done so much for us. Not today. He got replaced by a kid named Daniel Jones, who absolutely stunk at Duke University. But yesterday, he pulls out a win for the Giants, and now everybody's on board. Goodbye, Eli. Hello, Danny Dimes. This is his city now. Everybody's saying it.
Well, and you look at some of those throws, he was putting it right in the bread. Like, he looked good doing it, too. It wasn't like he was, dinking, dunking, and then guys were taking off and scoring long touchdowns. He was throwing dimes all game long.
And I think the thing that Daniel Jones has done, and this is something I wanted to talk about it on Get Up this morning, didn't get to it. Something funny, Ty?
No, I just you told me right when you came in. You said, "Hey, I had this great point about Daniel Jones. Time just didn't allow."
I didn't get to talk that much on Get Up, did I?
No, you didn't.
I didn't. I don't know what's going on, man. I feel like college football, I'm kind of getting pushed out, too. I feel like they're trying to body me out of there, too. Is ESPN hate me talking on their things? I wonder. I did get a Laramie Tunsil lung shot out there, though, so if they were going to let me talk just a little bit, that probably ruined it. But for the Daniel Jones situation, I have a pretty relatable situation for him. So when I got arrested for the public intoxication, there's a lot of stories that came out around that. I was allegedly in a canal. I allegedly went swimming, but I think we all know I was definitely intoxicated in public.
For sure.
So there's no harps or gripes against that. But the thing that happened the next couple of days after I got in trouble was I was made fun of by everybody. Late night show hosts were actually using me as a punchline. Local news were broadcasting live from the scene of the crime. It is alleged that this is where he went into the canal. Everybody was mocking me. Nobody even knew I was on the Colts until that morning. Everybody thought Hunter Smith was still the punter. They had no idea I was there until they could just bury me. And I got to a point where I was reading and seeing what everybody was saying about me, and it finally I reached its breaking point, where I said, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks anymore. It hardened me. It actually made me into the player that I was. Not only did I want to turn my life around because I embarrassed my family and I embarrassed the Colts, and I was very grateful for another opportunity after this national embarrassment, but for me, it hardened me that all these people that I had never met before, that had no idea who I was calling me this embarrassing child, basically, which potentially rightfully so to say that, especially for somebody that had the give and take that I had with the police officers at the time during a bye week in a position that I shouldn't have been in. But all these people that had never met me before were calling me all these names. And I finally got to a point where I was like, to hell with all of them. To hell with everybody. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to do my thing. And if people don't like it, they can go fornicate themselves from here all the way to California. I think that might have happened with Daniel Jones. I think the day of the draft, when he got drafted, the only thing that was said was negative. And it wasn't just the Giants that said it, Giants fans that said it. It was every talking head that could talk into a TV. It was every person on Twitter that had a Twitter. It was every single human talking about how bad Daniel Jones was. This guy is the worst draft pick in the history of the NFL. People were burning jerseys. People were mocking this guy. And at some point, I assumed Daniel Jones was just like, to hell with everybody. None of these people have any idea who I am, how hard I work, how athletic I am, how good I am at football, and what I'm going to do in that locker room to earn the team over. That's why you see the fearless play in him. Orlovsky broke down a play for like 7 minutes on Get Up this morning where he was talking about the easy option was this underneath route, and instead he took the hard one into double coverage where it was a tight-fitting ball to Sterling Shepard, I believe. To have that type of fearlessness and mindset, you have to know that there could be potential reaction from people calling you an idiot. You have to know that people will be like, why would you throw it there when this person's open? And at some point, you just have to have the freeness in your mind to say, I don't give a damn what anybody has to say. And I assume getting pounded to the ground after being drafted in a top 10 to the New York Giants, that is probably where that hardness came from, if I had to guess.
Well, and I think he's in a good spot now, too, because regardless of what happened yesterday or what was going to happen, everyone just assumes like, the Giants are going to stink this year. They're terrible. And obviously to play quarterback, you need to have a certain level of mental toughness. So, I mean, if he goes out and performs poorly yesterday, the narrative changes even worse, and then he has to deal with that for the rest of the season.
If Matt Gay makes a 34-yard field goal, that should have been a 29-yard field goal, by the way. Bruce Arians was did on purpose. It's easier back there. Bruce, I don't know if BA is trolling. I don't know if Bruce Arians is trying to make an excuse for why he got a delay of game that late in the game. He called 2 timeouts in a row the week before. So Bruce Arians' time management might have been on. Bruce Arians is a Super Bowl winning coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's been around. He's a quarterback whisperer. He's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks. But these last couple of weeks here, time management has definitely been a question. And then whenever you say, oh, yeah, we back them up, it's an easier kick from back there. When you're in the middle of the field, there's no such thing as an easier kick from distance. Like in college, the hash marks are wider. Okay, in the NFL, the hash marks are right on the upright, but in college, they're wider than the upright. So whenever you're short, whenever you're real close, the ones on the hash mark, that could be a tough angle, right? Because whenever you look at something from the side, it kind of tightens up a little bit. So getting a 5-yard penalty and backing it up so you get a better view at the uprights in college makes a lot of sense. But in the NFL, it doesn't make a lot of sense with where the hash marks are, and it definitely doesn't make sense when you're in the middle of the damn field. And by the way, if they're 5 yards closer, that ball goes in. Nonetheless, 34-yarder, 29-yarder, 40-yarder, middle of the field, professional kicker should make the kick. That's just what you should do.
Right.
But if he makes that kick, it's a completely different narrative here for Daniel Jones. It's a guy who played well, yeah, but he couldn't beat Jameis Winston in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which a lot of people think stink. Nice overreaction Monday. Let's get to a break. We'll get some phone calls on the other side. It is 10:17 here on this beautiful September 20th, 2019. A little late with the music, Foxy. If you could start yelling at people a little bit more back there, that'd be great.
That's on me.
Yeah, I know, Foxy. You got your little director headset on back there. You're pointing at things. You're doing this. You're doing that. But we're live in New York. Phone calls on the other side. I do believe the Daniel Jones stuff could be a complete overreaction, but you can't blame New York Giants fans. They have hope for the first time in a long time.
Exactly.
And right in the middle of their hope, big-time controversy with Saquon Barkley's high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it, but a lot of people are saying that it's probably because he was hanging out with Bob Menery all season. All off season, excuse me. One too many Ripper Magoos, one too many Slappies. We'll see what he does.
People are saying it.
Nah, yeah, I didn't say it. A lot of people are saying it, though, and you didn't say it.
You didn't say it.
No, and you didn't say it.
I didn't say it.
A lot of people are saying it, though.
We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Upbeat vibe. Little upbeat vibe. Little upbeat vibe for your Monday morning. Upbeat vibe for your Monday morning. Here we are in New York. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here in New York City. It is Monday, September 20th, 2019. We just talked about Danny Dimes the entire first segment. It is the talk of the town here.
Yeah.
People are normally very miserable walking around New York City. They got their AirPods on, they got their suits on, they're about to walk like a bunch of rats into their holes and punch numbers all day.
Smells like sewage everywhere.
Everywhere. Smells like debris and garbage just floating through the air. I got sick last week here just breathing in the New York City air. But the smartest people on earth travel here to work here full time. Everybody had a little bit of a skip in their step today, though.
Oh, yeah.
Not only the Giants fans because they found a guy in Danny Boy, but also because the Jets fans are 1 week closer to their kid not having mono anymore. Easy, Russell. Easy. All right.
He gets it.
Let's get to the phone lines. Zito, who do we got?
All right, we have
You're doing great.
Quentin from Bloomington.
Okay, Quentin, what's going on, bub?
Oh, I'm on the show. Awesome. Hey, Pat, I want to say I feel like the other week I heard you saying something about like Lucas Oil was a kind of quiet stadium, and that was anything but the case yesterday. I want to say partly I feel like it was that WWE promo that you did right before hitting the Anvil, and the entire place popped. I had never seen it like that before. And the infant next to me stood up and started like screaming.
Now,
that was intense.
Now that's what I'm talking about. We got babies standing up, losing their minds. We got everybody going, losing their minds. The thought of getting up there, and thank you for the call, Quentin. They told me we're thinking about opening the mic up for 15 seconds to the entire stadium before you hit the Anvil. The Anvil is a tradition that the Colts started just a couple years ago. The Colts are this historic franchise. Johnny Unitas, you name it, go through the list. Peyton Manning, it was in Baltimore. But there's zero fan. I mean, I'm wailing on that damn Anvil, though.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if they'll invite you back because I thought you split that thing in two.
There are zero traditions. Okay? There's no chants. Mm-hmm. There's no annual things. There's nothing. When Peyton Manning was a quarterback, Peyton Manning would point at everybody and say, get quiet on offense. And you're talking about everybody in the stadium, everybody in the state, even little infants in hospitals stopped crying when Peyton Manning said, be quiet. And then when Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis were rushing the passer, they would make some noise again. But over the last 6, 7, 8 years, Lucas Oil Stadium kind of didn't have an identity for a while. Mm-hmm. Andrew Luck didn't do much conversating with the crowd. The defense wasn't getting hyped. There was a lot of games, too, where we were getting blown out, and then we would come back, so the crowd kind of lost their energy. And I thought yesterday, with the Jacoby Brissett era beginning, it was a nice restart for that team. And the speech that I gave before hitting the hell out of that Anvil was basically like, hey, when teams come here, they need to know that it's going to be a long day. That was me basically saying to the crowd, like, hey, we can completely rewrite the history books for the type of crowd we are. Today can be the day that the crowd decides that we are going to be a raucous atmosphere in Lucas Oil Stadium. And I'm not going to take 100% credit for the win yesterday. But, boy, I came in swinging pretty hard. And the Colts are
undefeated 3-0 with you hitting the Anvil.
I mean, women lie, men lie, numbers don't.
That's right.
Okay, a small Wayne said that. Okay, a little Wheezy said that. But I did like the energy in that stadium. And it felt as if whenever Andrew Luck retired via an Adam Schefter tweet, mm-hmm. and the crowd booed. There was 300 people that probably booed, but boy, it got picked up on those cameras.
Oh, yeah.
It just didn't look good. Optically, did not look great. Everybody came out and started swinging at Colts fans. Disgusting fan base. You're a bunch of squids out there in the middle of nowhere. It's a second-rate hick city, people were saying.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like that rallied the city more than anything else. Like, hey, we're all we got. We're all we got right now. And yesterday, it felt as if we were all we had, and it felt like this team is all the way behind Jacoby Brissett, which it should be, by the way, because Jacoby Brissett is a dog. Jacoby Brissett is a player, and Jacoby Brissett can make every throw, will make every throw. There will be some growing pains. There'll be some dumb decisions. But I think with his tutelage under the Tom Brady, After watching Andrew Luck perform at a high level in this system, I think with the way the Chris Ballard, Southern gentleman Chris Ballard, handsome-ass face Chris Ballard, assembled the team around what was supposed to be Andrew Luck, now Jacoby Brissett, I think the Colts are a real team this year. I believed it at the beginning of the season. I didn't love it after the Chargers game, but now after watching them, and the Falcons made a little push there, but it was never in doubt. The Colts answered. They had resiliency. I like the Colts a lot, and the greatest of all time to ever kick a football is all the way back.
He's back.
Banking some kicks in, everything like that. I like the Colts a lot. I like Jacoby Brissett a lot. It was an honor to get up there and talk some grumpy there for 15 seconds, but never in my life have I ever talked for 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that they would just kind of cut you loose and maybe let you do like a 2-3 minute promo.
By the way, I was ready to go.
I know you were.
I was ready to go for a 2-3 minute. Foxy filmed the entire thing. I get there and they tell me how many seconds I have whenever I get there. They're like 15 to 20 seconds, 30 seconds max, because that thing's all laid out. They're like, all right, national anthem, Pat Talk, Anvil, kickoff. TV, kickoff. It's all down to like the second.
Yep.
So they're putting a lot of heat on me to hit that 15-second out. I think I went 24 seconds. That's close enough, man. Did a lot of yelling, got the place alive. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Well, so, we got the common thread here. When you are in the building hitting the anvil, Colts are undefeated. Mm-hmm. Do you think that maybe the crowd was a little jacked up, too, because they knew they had a noodle-armed stooge coming in for the opposing team?
Are you talking about Matt Ryan?
Yeah, I am.
It does seem like he is not that good of a quarterback.
Especially when you got a guy like Julio Jones.
He was open in the end zone a couple times.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm a quarterback and I have Julio Jones... Now, granted, I was a quarterback.
Yeah, you were. A very good quarterback, might I add.
Yeah. Hey, another thing where people lie, numbers don't.
Correct.
Highest passer rating in the history of the NFL on Thanksgiving Day.
They've been playing Thanksgiving Day games for a long time.
I mean, nobody in the Detroit Lions who play every single year on there, none of their quarterback ratings can touch mine.
Brett Favre played on Thanksgiving quite
Ever
a few
heard
times.
of him?
Troy Aikman.
Ever heard of him? Kitna?
Tony Romo. John Kitna.
Ever heard of him? Anyways, let alone Luck was playing in that same game I was playing in.
Exactly.
Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, there's the list of elite quarterbacks that have a lower passer rating than me on Thanksgiving. It's a long one.
It is.
But if I'm a quarterback and I have Julio Jones on my team, and we're in the red zone area, probably the first guy I'm looking for, no matter what the call is Julio Jones.
Always the best athlete on the field.
He was open twice and Matt missed him. Just like in that game against the Eagles, Julio was open a couple times and Matt missed him. Matt Ryan, it almost feels like it's an Eli Manning situation where they're not going to get rid of him because they feel like they owe him because of how much he's done for the franchise. But I'm out on the Matt Ryan train. I understand he was an MVP at one point. They're going to be looking for their next Daniel Jones, hopefully. And what happens though if Daniel Jones goes on and loses every single game? I don't think Matt Ryan's a stooge. I think he's been a great game, but I just think he's past his time. Ty Schmidt thinks he's 100% a stooge, though.
Yeah, Kai, I just like Julio doesn't really seem like a guy who's going to get like super fiery like that. He just got paid, but at what point does he pull him aside and be like, "Hey, throw me the damn ball"? Like,
He
I'm
unfollowed.
open.
He unfollowed the Falcons.
He did.
There's a little bit of drama there when Julio unfollowed him. He's like, "Listen, I don't even want your ass in my timeline anymore. Okay, if you're not going to give me the Brinks truck, don't be tweeting that bull mess inside my timeline. Unfollow on Instagram too. I don't need any flexing photos of my teammates that are making more money than I'm should be making."
Well, it's just like, when Calvin Johnson used to play for the Lions, they'd throw to him in double coverage, triple coverage, and he's still coming down with like 60% of those throws. What's to say Julio isn't doing the same thing?
Did you see his pinky, though?
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson came out this weekend and buried the Detroit Lions franchise, basically.
He did.
Evan Foxy, who's watching along in the control room while bossing people around, that had to hurt the feelings a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, just pay the man. He did so much for this team, and he's the second greatest receiver, in my opinion, of all time. Just give him his money and let him go.
What happened now? You guys made him pay something back?
Yeah, so he ended his contract earlier or whatever because he retired, obviously, and they made Calvin pay his signing bonus, I believe, back, which is just an absurd move.
Well, I mean, two ways to look at this. if you go strictly by the business side, it's like, yeah, you didn't perform. I didn't get paid for my last 2 years of my contract. I didn't get a signing bonus because kickers, punters, normally you're just expected to make it. But also, it's like, hey, we can do this guy a favor. He's done a lot for us. Let's go ahead and give him his money.
Amen.
Let's give him his monies. Give him his monies, and let's get out of here. They did that with Andrew Luck, I guess, right?
Yep.
And I think that's because Irsay thinks Luck's coming back. I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he is either.
I think Calvin Johnson could still play football if he had to, though.
Absolutely. I have a dream that one day these Lions, which are undefeated right now, are going to make it to the playoffs, and Calvin suits it back up in that Honolulu blue.
Isn't he selling a bunch of weed right now?
Yeah, he has like some CBD or
Yeah, he's not
marijuana
passing any
businesses.
tests.
No, it also looks like his fingers went through a meat grinder. I don't even know if he can catch a football anymore.
Especially with Stafford throwing the heat.
Yeah.
That Lions team looks good, though.
They do.
Good for the Detroit Lions. Good for Matt Patricia. Another potential bump from this show, though. I went into Patricia's office. I touched that lion that he has overseeing things, and things started going well. I mean, not everything works whenever I come around. But normally, if I give you a little love, things start working out a little bit better.
Aaron Rodgers comes on the show.
Undefeated.
Packers are undefeated, arguably the best team in the NFL right now.
I think they're the best team in the NFC. Anybody that doesn't think the Patriots are the best team in the NFL are just. I was in a pre-production meeting earlier today, and there was a lot of people who have good football minds that were ranking the teams in the NFL, and somebody had the Patriots at 3.
Yeah, that's absurd.
I'm not going to say the name of the person that did that strictly because if they want to say it, they can say it. But anybody that thinks the Patriots can't just win a game whenever they want, why? Because they gave up 14 points because old Stidham, whatever his name is, comes in, throws a pick, and then gets benched again for Tom Brady. The Patriots can win any game they want to win. And I think that just needs to be understood right now that they could be able to do that.
Well, and the Chiefs are the sexy pick, obviously, because Mahomes is just slinging the pill around the yard, and he's very, very good. But until they can prove that they can beat the Patriots, I mean, that they're going to the Super Bowl.
By the way, D Ford. Just 6 inches, man. Just 6 inches back. The
tough.
Chiefs are in the Super Bowl.
It's tough.
But that's what the Patriots do.
Yeah.
Those types of things happen for the Patriots. Like, that is the type of wins that the Patriots get. It's like, well, if D4 didn't, blah, blah, blah. Well, if blah, blah, blah. But that's just the way the Patriots are. They set themselves up for success, and they win. Teams that lose, they trade away their best players. Steelers, for instance.
Yeah. At this point, do Steelers fans just throw in the towel on the season? It's over, right?
Diggs and Nick have completely quit on them. I got text messages from both of them independently about how bad the team stinks. And they were in that game until James Conner fumbles that football.
They were.
Which is very interesting to me that Diggs has already quit on him because Diggs does live and die with them, as does Nick's happiness. And they're both out. They're completely out. But Pittsburgh's Yinzers tend to be a bit dramatic. I mean, that's kind of the way it is. A lot of football left, obviously, but I don't know if Mason Rudolph's the guy.
Nah, I don't think he is.
I like the Colts, though, man. Hey, Zito, is there any other phone calls over there?
Yes, sir. We have Justin from West Virginia.
Let's go Mountaineers, Justin. What's up, bub?
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Hey, Justin, things are okay. I'm overlooking New York City. It's a massive place. I mean, there's just humans everywhere. I couldn't even fathom whenever I was drunk in Morgantown most nights of the week, kicking balls on the weekends, that I would ever end up here, and I'm pretty thankful for it. There's cranes on top of buildings. There's humans cleaning windows up here like 70. I mean, this guy's 700 feet in the air cleaning a bit.
That's my home state.
You're from New York, Justin?
Yeah, upstate.
Oh, up there near Buffalo, Syracuse, stuff like that?
Yeah, like the Albany area.
Oh, nice. Well, let's go. Do you want to talk about something, or you just want to hear what I'm watching over here?
No, I wanted to ask you what your game day looked like in college, like what your game day rituals or whatever were before in college and in the NFL.
I did a lot of sleeping. I was a big-time sleeper. Do you play?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're a foosball player for West Virginia?
Yeah, not for West Virginia. At the other school.
Marshall.
Yes, sir.
Is Doc Holliday still the coach down there?
Yeah.
What a human, man. That guy will go fight somebody if he has to. Now, granted, Doc Holliday, one of the greatest recruiters in the history of recruiters, he was down in Florida whenever they were winning all the games down there, and Doc Holliday was the head recruiter. He's the one who got Noah Devine and Jock Sanders to West Virginia. I don't know how he did that, but My game day ritual, Justin, was I did a lot of sleeping. I always took the first bus over. I wanted to get over there early. I had a pre-kick before the workout. I would kick it in my pants, not my shoulder pads, because I got these big old ham hocks as thighs. I like to loosen up the pants a little bit. I like to see some balls turn over. I like to see some balls go through the uprights. And then whenever warm-ups would start, I mean, that was a complete mental test on trying to learn how to kick again every single week, basically.
Man, I feel the same way. I appreciate it.
Do you suck or are you good?
I like to hope I'm good.
How do you hit it? Are you the starter down there?
Yeah.
Let's go, Justin. All right. Now, listen, a lot of people hate the Thundering Herd. To call them the Thundering Turd around West Virginia, Morgantown. But I like to hear success stories. What year are you?
Redshirt senior.
Oh, you've been around a long time. You've been down there in Huntington a long time. Huntington, West Virginia, not a lot to do down there either. So I appreciate the fact that you've been able to stick with it here for 5 years. How's the season?
I appreciate it.
How's the season going this year?
Really good. The only loss was to Boise, but we have Cincinnati next week.
Well, Luke Fickell's team is tough. I want to let you know that Luke Fickell's team is tough. How are you on this season? Have you missed yet?
We had the only miscommunication was on an extra point, but take ownership of that. But other than that, no.
Justin, I like where your head's at. You're listening to this show, so you're obviously a smart guy. You just keep swinging and make sure you enjoy the hell out of this season. I think the thing I didn't do enough whenever I was in college was enjoy the process. I was always so worried about whether or not I was going to make a lot of money kicking balls in the future. I didn't get a chance to really sit there and enjoy it. You'll remember that senior year for the rest of your life. I think that's something you should just take in and enjoy the hell out of it. All right.
I think we lost him there.
Sound like Zito hung up on him.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, it sounded like Zito hung up on him.
Very trigger happy back here.
Not on the first guy, though. The first guy you were just going to let on forever.
Hey, who?
Quentin.
No, I cut him off.
Zito's a dum-dum. All right, let's get to a break. I gotta sprint to the other side of the building to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like whenever you tell a kid, I'll time you.
Yep.
For them to go run something. That's kind of what happens now. Well, what is this, Foxy? What's this song here?
You got a whole new track list today, courtesy of me, and I don't know what it's called.
So what'd you do? You just puffed yourself up there before giving a no answer?
Yep, nice little pat on the back.
Yeah, basically, it's exactly what I did.
What a joke. Guy named Russell in here, our new stage manager, he thinks you're a joke, Foxy.
Not the only one, Russell. Not the only one, but I'm still undefeated. Let's go.
The Lions are.
They're one of the same.
Got him.
One pride. I respect it. The undefeated Lions should be feeling good about themselves. More calls on the other side, more life. It's 10:40, September 20th. You're listening to The Pat McAfee Show.
The future is now, not backing down, 'cause the future is now.
Ooh. Little country kick here. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Wait, we got to wait for station identification on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Probably no. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We are live in New York City. It is apparently September 23rd, 2019.
Honest mistake.
Not September 20th. I looked at my phone right before we went out there, too. I thought that 3 was a 0. This is how you know things are kind of crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
Got the hemorrhoids. Got the New York flu last week. Now I'm seeing 0s for 3s. Who knows how long this is going to last? Let's assume it's all going to come crashing down pretty soon. Got a chance to chat about Danny Boy earlier. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson, another young quarterback. I assume the world wanted to crash down on Lamar today. Yep, that's what we thought. That's the guy. He's a running back. He's not a quarterback. Can't win the game. Whenever you need him to throw it, not going to be able to throw it. That first week, whenever he had a perfect passer rating, he threw the ball 20 times. That's it. 20 attempts. The second week, 37 attempts. Against the Chiefs, 43 pass attempts. 0 interceptions throughout the season, so he's making smart decisions or throwing uncatchable balls, whichever way you look at it.
Right.
Something interesting I noticed yesterday, he throws without the laces sometimes. I like that. I like the swag on somebody that doesn't need the laces. One of my completions, one of my attempts was without the laces, so I can respect that a lot. But I don't think Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, fully understand each other yet. That's what these first couple of weeks are, to kind of feel things out. Lamar is 8-2 as a starter. His only 2 losses coming to the Chiefs, at the Chiefs. That's it. Whenever you pass the ball 43 times, it's putting a lot of pressure on you, even if you are a precision quarterback. I think that Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson need to go back to the drawing board. They need to learn that Mark Ingram in there is incredible. Let's feed him. Let's let Lamar get loose on the ground a little bit. And then whenever we run to throw as opposed to throw to run, we're probably going to be better off. And I think this game that they just had against the Chiefs will help them later on down the road, against the Chiefs again probably. But I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are nowhere near out of this. I think Harbaugh and the boys are going to rally the troops. I think they're going to be good in these upcoming weeks. I think that's trouble, by the way, for the Brownies, for the Steelers, and the Bengals, who completely stink. What happened to them? They used to at least win some regular season games and get everybody's hopes up. At least now there's nothing to even get your hopes up. If you're a Bengals fan, they don't get talked about anywhere.
No, honestly, I didn't even know if they still played. I haven't heard anything about them this year.
They're like the Sacramento Kings of the NFL. Have you seen the Sacramento Kings on TV ever?
No.
The answer is no. Didn't even know they were in the NBA for a while. Sacramento Kings are still in the NBA. You did not know that because they never get on TV. The Cincinnati Bengals are still in the NFL. In their games, I don't even know if they get on the DirecTV all-access.
Sunday ticket package.
I don't even think they're on Sunday ticket. I think they get played along the American Conference down there on ESPN. I mean, they never get talked about. Andy Dalton, good guy, too. I think he's a great guy. I think he's good at football, but that Bengals team will never be good. And the Brownies, they're going to have to face some real in-the-mirror problems here. Last 4 series, Odell Beckham Jr. was targeted just 1 time. What's the purpose of having an Odell Beckham Jr. if you're not going to target that guy? Granted, Jarvis Landry didn't get a lot of looks either.
No.
It seems as if they were using them as distractions, I guess, so they can get other people the ball. But the reason why they're distractions is because everybody's scared to death of them. You know why they're scared to death of them? Because they can make plays out of nowhere. I think at least one of those 4 downs down on the 4-yard line to tie the game up, you have to get the ball into Odell's hands. At least attempt to throw it up. I mean, that's what he does. He makes miracle catches, but Freddie Kitchens, Baker, and the boys got some stuff to figure out as well.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time, too, before Freddie Kitchens starts feeling the heat a little bit. I mean, last night,
Really?
Well, I mean, after that game, I was thinking, like, well, are we so sure this guy shouldn't be pushing a broom at a middle school somewhere, much less, coaching an NFL football team? That draw on 4th and 9, like you said earlier, one of the dumbest play calls ever.
Hasn't been a 4th and 9 draw has not been called since 2007. And it didn't work then, and it didn't work last night. I think Baker checked into that.
Really?
I don't know if that's Freddie Kitchens. I think Baker checked into that. I don't know their mechanics enough, but it almost seemed like they were trying to draw him off sides to get 5 yards closer to hit a field goal.
Right.
It felt like that was going to happen. Then he backed up in to shotgun. He moved somebody over, and then he was like, you know what, we're going to run this thing. I think I see it. And then he goes into the draw, and they pick up 2 yards. Normally with a draw, by the way, you can pick up a good 4 to 5 yards. Like normally you get a chance to steal it. They picked up 2 yards. It just looked bad. Optically, it looked bad. And then having 1st and goal from the the 4 and not being able to punch it in. It looks bad. A lot of people are talking about Baker Mayfield abandoning the pocket and leaving. I would too if Aaron Donald's on the other side. The guy trains with knives. You got to do what you got to do. That's a good defense. But I think Baker and Freddie have a lot of soul searching to be doing right now today.
Well, and I wonder too. I mean, I know Jarvis and OBJ are really tight. They're close buds, but Zito with the great graphic
Zito
there.
just put a graphic up if you're watching along. Should Freddie stay out of the kitchen? Clever.
But how long until those guys start butting heads? Because like Jarvis obviously was the go-to guy in Miami, and now like you said, now I think he's had what 8 or 9 receptions so far this year. He's just not getting the ball.
And before the game, they go Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield and the Browns take on blah 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 blah. Jarvis Landry isn't getting billing anymore.
No.
And now him and Odell Beckham best friends since college. Odell Beckham took an extremely high road after the game, which by the way was nice to see.
Right.
Because in a world full of prima donnas, it could have been very easy for Odell Beckham, especially with what we're doing, to say, I mean, they brought me in here and I only got targeted one time in the last 4 series, and we're in that game if they throw me the ball. He could have said that.
Yeah.
Instead, he took the high road, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of that move, Odell Beckham Jr. The more of that, the better. Let me do the talking for you, Odell. They should have got him the damn ball and let him be magical, because Odell Beckham isn't going to be healthy all year.
No.
He's not going to be healthy. He's going to be hurt at least 5 games. Let's go ahead and knock it down. Because he makes incredible plays in traffic, because he is such a tight twitch muscle man, he's going to get hurt at some point. You have him healthy. You have him on prime time. Hey, and when the lights come on, the stars come out. That's Odell Beckham's dream there, Sunday Night Football after Monday Night Football. Get him the damn ball, Freddie.
They also got to address the line situation.
They are bad at blocking humans.
Baker's running for his life on damn near every play.
Now, granted, Baker, there was a couple times where Collinsworth pointed out that, there's a pocket here. He could have stayed in there. And I like the way Chris Collinsworth operates. He kind of leans toward negative, which I don't love, but he does break things down pretty well. But, I mean, I'd be running for my life, too, if I knew those boys were on the other side of the line, and I knew my guys not great at getting their bodies in between humans and me. If I knew that my life was potentially on a platter for Aaron Donald every single play, I'm probably going to be a bit antsy to get out of that pocket, too, which affects everything, by the way. But it was very obvious that anytime he got into a set and through, their offense could move.
Exactly.
Anytime something was on rhythm, it seemed like they could move. When they got out of rhythm at all, it was just a complete failure. But it's only week 3.
Yeah.
Will they be able to figure it out? Who knows? Let's get to a call here before the end of the first hour. 1-833-622-3331. That's a lot of threes.
Yeah, quite a few in there.
Zito, who we got?
We have Kenny from Indiana.
Kenny, what's up, buddy?
Pat, what's going on? Ty, love the mustache.
Thank you.
Want to talk about, we could talk about, Washington State's quarterback throwing 9 touchdowns, blowing the lead, 30-point lead in the third quarter. The real story is Minshew's jorts. Can we just get the analysis of how he cuts those and what his outfit looked like that night?
Appreciate that, Kenny. I'm a big jorts proponent.
Correct.
I've been doing the jorts for a long time. I saw Barstool, a place that we used to work for, said that Gardner Minshew is bringing back jorts, which I respect and appreciate. If it's going to take a character like Minshew to bring back jorts, I'm all for it. The fact that whenever the sky's out, the thighs come out is a real thing in Gardner Minshew's life makes me feel even better. I'm okay with the short cut that he had, the Daisy Duke almost feel. I'm more of a roll up from the bottom type guy, let the quads do the hugging onto the pants. But jorts are something that you can dress up and dress down. You can wear jorts on a ESPN telecast, for instance.
Yeah, you bet.
You can wear jorts on WWE telecast.
Right.
You can wear jorts to party. You can wear jorts to sleep. The jorts are the ultimate all-terrain short and utility clothing. And I'm a big fan of what Gardner Minshew does, not only on the football field, but off the field. His mustache is glorious. The way he handles himself is glorious. He knows that he's hilarious the way he does things. I just like the fact that he's fully embraced himself. I don't know if that makes him worth a damn as a quarterback in the NFL. I have no idea. We're going to find that out, I guess. But I'm a big fan of the way Gardner Minshew operates.
Yeah, I like him a lot, too. I agree, though. with all the social media stuff, maybe we should let him win like 1 or 2 more games before we start getting his size of jacket for Canton. But he's been good so far.
If he ends up in Canton, by the way, that speech is going to be electric. The Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way, nothing to sneeze at.
No, they're not.
They're not great, though, either, I don't think.
Well, and all the Jalen Ramsey stuff is kind of putting a damper over everything.
They said, there we go. Attaboy, Foxy told the guy to put the music on. We got 30 seconds out. Foxy's back there directing like he's Scorsese, dude. Pointing fingers, you do this, you do that. Jalen Ramsey said he's sick. He won't see me at work today. Everybody's like, oh, he's trying to direct a narrative, trying to get out of town. What if he's actually sick? Has anybody thought about that?
Probably not.
We'll be back on the other side. You listen to the Pat McAfee Show.
from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is, Chase Rice. Thank you so much for that banger. It is September 23rd, 2019. We are live from New York City at 4 World Trade, overlooking about 1.5 billion humans who all have been stuffed in their holes to count numbers and make money. It is an honor to be speaking sports with you today. Joined alongside me at Ty Schmidt, rocking a perfectly trimmed mustache. Evan Foxy is in the director's chair, bossing people around, apparently not getting the audio cues for the intro song there for the second hour. Zito's answering the phone calls. If you want to be a part of the show, 1-833-622-3331. Also, we gave away a Cadillac Escalator in the first hour. Congrats to Lucas Schultz. Lucas Schultz. It's an interesting day this Monday after the NFL. And I think I'm realizing it more and more now that we have a daily show.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm on Get Up in the morning, so I get a chance to sit in there. The amount of overreactions is awesome. I mean, you were just asked to overreact to everything that you've seen the night before. Everything. Baker Mayfield, Freddie Kitchens, worst couple of all time. But Rex Ryan said with a straight face, Baker Mayfield's the most overrated player he's ever seen in his life. Are you serious with that? Jamarcus Russell played in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things, but he really did say he was the most overrated person of all time. When I guess if you watch those last 4 downs, whenever you're on the 4 first and goal looking to tie it up and you miss it, I guess you could say that. Pittsburgh Steelers, overreaction. I get a text from Yinzer saying they stink. They're out of it. Daniel Jones, put him in the Hall of Fame because he beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Jameis Winston, Bruce Arians, after a 34-yard field goal was missed wide right when it should have been a 29-yard field goal that would have snuck in the right upright. And for me overreacting, the Colts are winning the Super Bowl. I am so happy that the Indianapolis Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. Yes, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, without Tyreek Hill, were able to find a new guy named Hardman who ran 21.83 miles an hour yesterday. Fastest guy in the NFL that they've tracked in a long time. Somehow they lose Tyreek Hill, substitute him with another fast guy. Robinson's making plays. Travis Kelce's getting loose. Sammy Watkins, LaShawn McCoy. Yes, they have all the weapons. But they don't have the Anvil that the Indianapolis Colts have.
No, they do not.
They don't swing the hammer like the Indianapolis Colts do.
No, they don't.
And that's the overreaction that we should have, by the way, now that we're in this profession.
Yeah, for sure.
The Indianapolis Colts are never going to lose another game.
No.
I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to go undefeated for the rest of the time. As long as Jacoby's lining up under center and shotgun, they will never lose again. And that's what I'm here for. Overreaction Monday. Let's overreact to stuff and keep saying it louder so that everybody believes it's true.
Yeah, try to poke holes in it. Good luck.
Excuse me.
Good luck.
Yeah. I went on FanDuel's show, More Ways to Win, on Sunday morning. They wanted us to Skype in. I don't have a Skype. I just wanted to FaceTime. Can I not FaceTime? They said we don't have the equipment for that. They're like,
don't have a cell phone?
That's what I'm wondering. No cell phone available in the studio. But I called in via a phone. So it must have been an Android in the studio.
Okay.
And I told them I expect the Baltimore Ravens to cover the 5.5 but lose to the Chiefs. Bingo. I said the Colts were going to beat old noodle Matt Ryan. Bingo. I said that Jacoby Brissett was going to have over 20.5 completions. Bingo. I said T.Y. was going to have more than 67 yards. He had 65 yards. Yikes. I wasn't perfect. I'm striving for it, though, boys. I am striving for it.
Well, you go 3-1 every week. I tell you what, you're gonna have a very nice season.
The refs seem to not blow as many calls this weekend as they did in week 2. But I am sick of seeing the flags. I didn't get to see that Thursday night game because I was working another Thursday night game that went down to the wire, Tulane, Houston. But when Tom Brady's tweeting about flags, they listen. I guess the amount of penalties of holding went down this weekend after Tom Brady spoke, which makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But there is a lot of flags out there. These refs are flag happy, and I'm about sick of it. I want to tell them, keep the thing in your pocket. That's what I want to say.
Well, it's getting to the point now, too, where, like, every time you get, like, a big play or a chunk play, you're just expecting, like, all right, we'll just hold up here because it's coming back probably.
Because punt returns are always like that.
Yep.
Big punt return, you're always, like, looking for the block in the back, and it kind of takes the juice out of the return. Now, any big play, the juice is sucked out of the stadium because there's 4 Foot Locker folks standing around each other, like, and then even if they say we've decided to pick up the thing, you still suck the energy out of the stadium.
Exactly.
It's like scoring plays, and I made a little spin zone where I said, you know, when they review scoring plays, when it's obvious, it gives the team an opportunity to celebrate twice. But it also just completely sucks the energy out of a stadium.
Right.
We scored, we're excited. Oh, wait. Did we? Like, I wish there was a way for the refs to get ahead of it. Like, if the penalty was on the defense and the offense just scored, somehow say, like, well, keep celebrating, it's on the defense. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Instead of the pause that has to happen, wait, is this going to count or is this not going to count? And then they come out and go, it was a holding on the defense that has declined, touchdowns good. It seems to happen every single time now, where I don't think it had happened like that in the past.
Well, like you said, it sucks all the energy out of the game. It's like those lulls that you're kind of just waiting, and it makes the game less enjoyable to watch, too.
It does make it less enjoyable to watch. And I think there's a lot more close calls, by the way. I was watching yesterday with old Frankie Morado. I got a chance to watch some of the games down at the office after leaving the Colts Stadium after banging on at Anvil. And he mentioned something that we had thought about a couple of times, and I had thought about. It seems like there's so many more close calls now. And I think it's because everybody's running faster. Mm-hmm. Everything's more precise. The throws are more accurate. Everybody understands that the 53 1/3 is 53 1/3, so they're designing plays to be right on the sideline or right at the sticks or right here, right there. Everything seems to be so close. So I do not envy the referees at all. I would not want to do it, but damn, man, we got to get better. There has to be a little bit of self-awareness from these Foot Locker folks to make the game a more enjoyable one to watch. Maybe if they had a little bit of swag. I've been saying this for a long time. After review, if the refs are right, I wish they would come out and say, just like we said, it was a pass interference on blah, blah, blah. Thank you very much. And if they were wrong, I wish they'd be like, well, you could see how we potentially thought this, but we just watched and we're wrong. Let's move along and act like nothing happened. I wish they just had a little bit more personality, a little bit more flavor, because they're becoming a large part of the game. And every time that ref speaks, that is a solo shot on national television. And whenever they're dry as cardboard, it's like, shut up, dude. It makes me want to hate them even more. It's like, you're the fun police, you're probably wrong, and you have the personality of a stick. Mm-hmm. Get off of my television. That's why I love Hockey League and I love Gene Steratore, and they're both gone.
Yeah. You know it's bad when I was seeing a lot of blowback on Twitter, people saying that they want the replacement refs back almost. Like it's gotten that bad.
No way. Don't ever say that. Don't you ever say that. It's the little things you don't think of.
Yeah.
Like for us with the replacement refs, let's say the ball was supposed to be spotted on the left hash. The refs are spotted on the right hash. We had a punt for the left hash, but they put it on the right hash. So we're jogging out on the field. They still have the quarterback ball in. They didn't know to put the kicker ball in. They have it on the wrong hash. So now you're just adding in a bunch of things, and you look at the ref. You're like, hey, this is supposed to be on the left hash. And you look him in the eyes. You see the eyes of a man who thinks he's about to die out there. Just completely scared, grumpyless out of his mind out there. I'm like, hey, this ball's on the left hash, isn't it? And he's just, don't look at me, please. I am so scared. I have a family. I coach. I used to ref 8th grade basketball, and now I'm in the NFL. I mean, those replacement refs were something terrible, but it does feel as if something's got to give with them.
Pat, that was like that clip you tweeted where the ref had no idea where the spot of the ball was.
Bro, what was he doing? He completely forgot which. By the way, he got it right. At the end, he got it right, which we should appreciate. But the fact that he was bouncing around on which side of his foot he should spot the ball, I mean, that's a pretty big position there. The guy that marks where the ball is, that's kind of how the whole game. That's kind of the purpose of the whole game, is where the ball is going to be spotted. And just the optics of it, of him just like not knowing where the hell to put the ball down, is a big deal.
It's almost like he forgot that, like, hey, millions and millions of people are going to see you looking just like an absolute clown out here.
A stooge.
Stooge. Big time stooge.
He put it for a first down too. You saw him say, because he waved the chains, and then whenever he was about to spot the ball, he was like, "Wait, that's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Let me put that on the other side of my foot." Definitely a first down. I don't know. The NFL is in a crazy place right now. Speaking of crazy place, the show started in a basement. Now it's on the 50th floor of World Trade Center. Let's take some phone calls. 1-833-622-3331. Zito, who you got on the line? Anybody good?
I got Richie from Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Richie, what's going on? I think we can see your house from where we're at right now.
How's it going, Pat?
Hey, life is good. Richie, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Enjoying the day. Sorry you guys are in the city smelling all the riffraff. We're out here on the island. But, still same type of madness. Still good.
I did see a homeless guy attempting to fornicate with himself on the way over here in a bush that was near a deli mart, which is very nice of him. I'm happy he was a classy man. It's an interesting place, this city is. It's an interesting place. I've heard Long Island's an awesome place. So what do you want to chat about, man?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is a great place, and can't wait for my Islanders to come back to it. But then on the same token,
that ain't never going to happen, pal. The Islanders that are never going to be.
At the Barclays. We got them back away from the Barclays. They are coming back. It's going to be 2 years. They are coming back. But thank God, I could finally go to a home game. But I was going to do a shout out to the Jets. Just on one good thing that we finally got a kicker. Happy about that. I'm pretty sure you're pleased about that too.
Yeah, I like that.
Looking into it, part two this way, I call Gase Rick Cote. Do you think now, if he wins just one game, which I think they're going to do, hopefully they only beat the Giants and they lose to Miami both times, do you think they can steal that pick away from Tua and just raffle it off just so they screw over the Miami Dolphins for Gase to get back at him?
You're talking about the Jets winning. You kind of broke up there. You're thinking that the Jets are potentially in the running for the first pick of the draft?
Yeah, and they'll raffle it off to somebody at NFC just to get it away from the Dolphins so Gase gets back at the Dolphins. And it's just a whole big wraparound story again. Do you think that's in his mind?
I love a good reach around, Richie. I'll tell you that. I like the way that works. I like vengeance. I like the thought of potentially getting a little vindication on an old employer. For me, though, I don't think anybody's going to touch the Dolphins. Honestly, they had a chance to score a couple times and they shot themselves in the foot. I think the Dolphins are going to earn that first pick of the draft for sure. But if anybody's up for it, I think the Jets. Let's not put anything past the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, their quarterback got mono. They paid a bunch of money to a bunch of people, then fired the guy who paid a bunch of people a bunch of money. I mean, the Jets have the talent to earn that number one pick. Let's not put it past them. Let's not put it past their curse, too. Everything they do seems to backfire on them. But if you get the number one pick, you don't just raffle that thing off. If you get the number one pick, especially with a Tua, a guaranteed lock first pick of the draft, which I guess everybody's saying Tua is. I don't know if he is, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if he is either.
I have no idea if tanking for Tua is the right move. He seems a little small to me.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a great arm. He can make a play. I think a lot will hinder upon how Kyler Murray does this year because he's kind of the same player. Even though Kyler probably throws the ball better than Tua, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if he's the number one pick. But anytime you have that outright number one pick, all of a sudden that pick becomes very, very valuable. And you could probably pick up 2 first-rounders for that thing if you really want it. And hell, you get a GM that gets a bit antsy and he knows he's about to get fired anyways if he doesn't make a big play. You could probably get 2 firsts and a future first out of that pick. That first pick of the draft, I can completely understand why people are trying to tank to get it because it's better to be terrible than mediocre, especially because you get rewarded with that first pick of the draft. But, boy, you got to sit through a lot of hard times, man, to earn that thing. The Jets have been through hard times for a long time, though. So have the Dolphins. Right now, I do think it is a two-headed race there for that number one pick of the draft. But Steelers might sneak in there and steal that thing at the end as well.
Yeah, I like his point about Gase trying to stick it to Miami, but are we sure he's even going to be in New York after this year? I mean, I know they just hired him, but at what point do people kind of just say, like, hey, this guy can't coach? He was basically Peyton Manning's towel boy, and that's how he, has been getting these jobs.
How does he get these jobs?
Because it's not only that, he always kind of looks like a horse's ass on the sidelines too. Like he's always pouting and like his body language is terrible.
There's never ever any real confidence from him.
No.
When he had that press conference when he was talking about Darnold having mono and stuff, there was a deep sigh afterwards where most coaches, like Chuck used to have to stand up there in terrible circumstances, absolutely despicable, terrible circumstances for our football team, and he would always find a way to rally. He was always like, well, listen, we got these guys we can rely on these guys, we can do this with this. Gase was basically completely... Our quarterback's been sucking face with something. He's got the mono, so we'll move on to the Simeon, who broke his ankle, so we'll go to our another guy. What's his name? Falk is going to be our quarterback. It's just like there's no hope from the guy. If I'm a Jets fan, I'm watching it. I'm like, this is our leader? This guy hates everything about us. This guy's got no chance. This guy stinks.
I mean, realistically, they probably should have fired him immediately after that introductory press conference.
Where he looked like he was on a bunch of...
Yeah, uppers or zappers, Ripper Magoos, you name it. But I'm not so sure they shouldn't have just been like, all right, this guy is an absolute clown. Get him out of here.
Ripper Magoos. People are saying potentially that guy's fault that Saquon Barkley's hurt.
Yeah, we're not saying it, but every corner of the internet this morning is saying it.
That
Saquon Barkley doing one too many slappies at Ripper Magoos in the offseason.
That's Bob Menery's voice there.
Yes.
Bob Menery, acclaimed Instagram comedian. Does play-by-play for viral videos.
Yep.
Accrues millions of views.
Yep.
Now he's the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings.
Correct.
Does a lot of jokes about the cocaine.
He does.
And Saquon Barkley was hanging out with him all offseason. We would never say that it was potentially his fault, but people are saying it, and we are just here to report what we see. That's all we're saying.
Our hands are tied.
What do you want from us? We're a big-time show.
Exactly.
Bob makes me laugh every once in a while in those videos. I'll start laughing at him.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley being hurt, though, is not good for the league.
No, it's not.
I don't like Saquon Barkley going down, mostly because whenever he has the ball, it's special. But the fact that Daniel Jones was able to win that game without him, I mean, I think that speaks bigger volume than anything else. Now, again,
sure.
It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers haven't been good since Allstott was running around down there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now are currently in this weird rebuild. Do we have our guy? Do we not have our guy mode? Nobody's really expecting them to do much. So Daniel Jones beating that team, not really that impressive in the macro sense. But in the micro, to be able to do it without Saquon, you got to feel good if you're him going in the next day. But I don't like Saquon being out. They're saying it's a high ankle sprain, but he'll get an MRI on it today. It's like, well, if they're getting an MRI on it, it's a high ankle. It might be something different.
Well, that's the kind of thing that could hamper you like an entire season, couldn't it? Like if he rushes back, comes back earlier than he should, then that's the type of injury that's very easy to re-injure.
He's an incredibly fit dude, so I'd assume he'd be able to figure it out. But whenever your position is running back and your job is to run, big part of running, the ankle.
That's right.
I'm no scientist, am I?
No, you're not.
Never said I was a scientist. Zito, we got anybody on the phone?
Yep, I got Brad from Indiana wants to ask a question about kicking camps down in Indiana, I guess.
Okay, great. No, Zito, never mind. I mean, we were just talking about Saquon. We talked about Daniel Jones. I assume there's somebody on the line that wanted to talk something along that. But no, we'll go Brad Jones. No, Brad, Indiana, kicking camps. Brad, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how we doing, Chuzzy?
Oh, this is Uncle Brad, Zito. Why didn't you say Uncle Brad? You just said Brad. This is our favorite drunk uncle, Uncle Brad, a man who's been with us for years. What do you got going on, Uncle Brad?
Hey, how you guys doing on this Monday?
Hey, not bad. It's September 23rd. Learned that about an hour into the show. Been saying September 20th, but everything's going well.
Well, I tell you what, that's a great gong shot you had. Really got those Colts juiced up, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I felt good. I swung the hell out of that hammer. I actually got a text from another man that is known for swinging a hammer that looks very similar. He says, if anybody makes fun of you for the size of that hammer, let him know it's not about the size, it's about the swing. And he couldn't have been more accurate, that man.
Amen, amen, man.
Amen.
Hey, what I got today, I got a question for the brand. I coach in junior league football again. I've been doing this for 15 years. And, Pat, I got a kid this year, believe it or not. He can boom him from about 30 right now.
Whoa!
Yeah. About 6 foot, 170 as a sixth grader. So I need to know where we can send this kid to kicking camp in Indiana. Got any suggestions?
I like where your head's at, Uncle Brad. I appreciate you coaching and giving back to your community. I would never in a million years coach sixth graders. My patience would run very thin. If the kid sucked, I'd tell him he sucked and he should move on to something else. Whenever he might find his greatness just a day or two later, that is why I would never be a coach and I shouldn't be a coach. I went to one of these kicking camps and I coached one time. I saw a couple of the kids that paid a lot of money to go to these camps because they're all being told they can get scholarships if they go to this camp. I saw this one kid and he was putrid at punting balls. And I walked over to him. And I said, hey, bub, how's it going? He was like, oh, just trying to learn, like super nice, and I really loved it. He was like a sophomore or a junior in high school. There wasn't a lot of time left for him to really turn things around, I said, why don't you try to do this with a ball? He did it. He hit a shank. It was bad. I said, why don't you try this? And he hit another bad one. And I said, hey, bub, listen, I know your mom paid a lot of money to go to this camp today, but I just don't think this is for you, honestly. I think you should think about getting a refund from the camp here. They should give you your money back, and maybe you go try another sport, because there's a couple things that you need to do well if you want to kick balls well. Being able to kick balls is one of them. And that's just something you can't do. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't like to do that. But I think this is a moment that you should pivot and focus on something that you might be good at, And the kid started to cry, I think. I think he turned around and started to cry. And the coach from the camp walked up to me, and he said, why is blah, blah, blah crying? And I was like, I don't know. He said, well, you told him that he should quit. Is that what you said? I was like, I think he should try something else, I said. He said, Pat, need you not to tell kids that. I said, did he tell you I said you should give him a refund too because he ain't worth a damn? And he said he did say that. I said, are you giving him a refund? He was like, we can't do that. We've already taken his money or whatever. I was like, well, you're the bad person, not me. You're lying to these kids. And I never worked at a camp again after that. And it was that moment I realized I'm probably not going to be a good dad. I probably shouldn't coach anything. But if I was to send a kid somewhere to go kick and learn how to kick, it would be the Cole's kicking camp with Jamie Cole. He's a good dude, great dude, taught me a lot of things, and I don't think he would lie to kids, which a lot of these guys are doing. They're lying to kids, say we can get you a scholarship. If you're 6 foot 170 and you're only kicking a 30-yarder, something to think about too. He's a sixth grader though. That kid should also have a basketball in his hand. If he's 6 foot tall, 170 in sixth grade, we should have him shooting a 3-ball as well.
Put a baseball in his hands, put him on the mound. He's going to be throwing heat. Kids aren't going to be able to catch up with it.
Also teach him the knuckleball. If he's a sixth grader and he's 6 foot tall, have him throw the knuckle, have him throw some gas, have him shoot some hoops, and if he's still kicking at that point, have Jamie Cole teach him how to kick. But who am I?
Just some guy.
It was a bad moment. That's one of the worst moments of my life when I told that kid, like, this probably isn't for you. And he, instead of being like, thank you for that, my parents are forcing me to be here because they think kicking is easy. It was the complete opposite. It was like his dream, and I just ruined it.
Well, aren't those camps supposed to be like kind of like elite prospects, like kids who you think are like, hey, okay, this kid's for sure going to go get a scholarship somewhere, has a very good shot of kicking in the NFL. If you knew right away, like, hey, kid, you stink, you're doing him a favor.
That's what I thought. Hey, that was my spin zone in my head.
And his parents, too. It's like,
they're
you
wasting.
want to keep spending thousands of dollars to spend into these camps when he's going to go end up kicking D3.
And I almost want to tell the parents, like, are you not watching your kid kick the ball? Like, do you not watch what everybody else is doing? And he's bad. That's why I won't go back. That's why I won't do it. I learned my weakness. It's teaching. I'm not great at teaching. I'm not bad at doing, but the teaching thing's not my thing. That's why whenever you find somebody that is a good teacher, you hang on to them. That's right. Like Jamie Cole from Cole's Kicking. Anyways, we got to get to a break. 11:24. I mean, I really broke that kid's heart.
Yeah, but who knows? He could be the CEO of some company right now. You don't know that.
He went and started reading books, watching Shark Tank, instead of failing at kicking balls and embarrassing himself in front of his teammates. You're welcome. How about Mom, too? Did I ever get a thank you from Mom?
Hey, thanks for saving us $1,500. We can go on a family vacation now.
Ha! Hero.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Not enough people are talking about that.
You're right. 1-833-622-3331. You're listening to The Pat McAfee Show. It's some... Hey. This one is regular, this song.
Yep.
I don't know if we are back. There's station identification on the back. Hello, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, broadcasting worldwide on DAZN and through radio stations with our friends at Westwood One. We've covered damn near everything, I think, in the football world.
Pretty much, yeah.
I feel good about it. We've answered some calls. Let's get to the phones again. Zito, 1-833-622-3331 to join the conversation. If you have an opinion, a question. Oh, Cliff Averill is here? Never mind. We won't go to the phones. We'll go to the phone for a very impressive man. This man played for the Lions, the Seahawks. He ended with 299 tackles, so close to 300. Ladies and gentlemen, defensive end Cliff Averill.
How you guys doing?
Cliff, life is good. How are you, man?
I can't complain. You know, retirement, trying to figure this thing out, but everything's going well.
What do you do in retirement? What are you doing currently? Do you run businesses? Do you do the media world? What is Cliff Averill up to?
And so a little bit of both, actually. So I have my own radio show that I do on 950 KJR here, Sports Talk Radio here in Seattle. And then I got a couple little business ventures that I do as well, but just chopping away in the media world.
What's the business ventures you do?
I got some real estate stuff that I do some angel investing as well. And then I do a little bit of stuff with the Seahawks as well, where I mentor some of the young D linemen.
Okay, Cliff, giving back to the game. Not enough people are doing that. Let's speak about the game now that we're on there. The Seattle Seahawks have always seemed to be this team. First of all, they're a transitioning team, right? From the Legion of Boom back whenever you were there, the big-time defense, young Russell Wilson, transition into now it's completely Russell Wilson's team. How do you feel about the Seahawks after just getting throttled at home this weekend?
I'm still confident in this squad, man. I'm still confident. I mean, if you look at the numbers, you look at some of the things the guys were doing, I mean, the numbers are still crazy. Russell Wilson still threw for over 400 yards. You know, they didn't necessarily get the rushing game going or anything like that. But overall, though, I think they have some really, really good players. Obviously, you have Russell, you have Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright. All three of those guys have been champions. They've been to Pro Bowls. They're some of the most elite players in the NFL. So with those guys on the team, I think they can lead the charge.
Pete Carroll took a football right to the face. Got that thing stitched up and coached through it. What is Pete Carroll like as a coach? He seems like a guy that everybody except for Earl Thomas likes.
I think Earl likes him too. But no, Coach Carroll's awesome. He's probably one of the best coaches I've ever had from the stance of, you know, he allows guys to kind of be themselves. He's super, coach friendly for the players, player friendly, should I say.
You got it.
Where, you know, you're shooting hoops before meetings. There's music blasting. It's just a good time, and it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel militant, and that's why they've been so successful in the last 10 years.
Pete Carroll, every time he speaks, we had this thing in training camp. Frank Luntz, I think is his name is. He does social group, like focus group studies for political and stuff like that. And he came in to talk to us about being politically correct in every answer. And they put a focus group to watch one of Pete Carroll's answers, and everything was like in the green. Like everything he says just sounds good. Russell Wilson is the same way. And then they showed like Rex Ryan, and it was like a deep plunge into the red, like the focus group hated this. Everything that comes out of Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll's mouth all sounds hunky-dory. Everything sounds good. Everything sounds great. Is that how it is in that building every single day? It's like, hey, we have a chance to be great today. Let's compete. Go Hawks, everything like that. Is that every single day?
I kid you not, it is, especially with Coach Carroll, you know. And so when I signed, when I was coming out here to kind of see where, during free agency, see where I'm going to go, you know, it's the happy-go-lucky, I mean, cheering, rah-rah. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, this feels like college all over again, where the coaches are recruiting you. It's, you know, it's happy-go-lucky and all these different things. It took me, honestly, 2 years before I truly believed Coach Carroll was who he was. Because every single day, win or loss, tie, whatever case may have been, you were getting the same guy consistently. And over 2 year span, you just have to believe it at that point, that it is what it is at that point. And he really is who he is. I haven't seen him have a bad day yet. I tell him all the time, I want to be on whatever you're on when I'm 68 years old because you are happy every single day.
I think the same thing about Russell Wilson. Every time he speaks, I'm like, this guy has to be full of crap at some point. Every interview he gives is perfect and polished. Whenever he's on the football field, he looks like he's perfect and polished. It's nice to hear that what it appears is actually what it is. Now, Cliff, let's move to the NFL as a whole. I went on a little run there about the refs just being terrible. It just seems as if they're getting worse and worse. As a defensive player, the rules have been changing against the defense, it seems like, at a rapid rate due to fantasy football and high-scoring points. Do you see it that way, or is it just something that defensive players just have to learn to adjust to, and it's kind of crap out of luck?
Well, it was a little bit of all of that you just said, right? I think fantasy football definitely plays a role in how, things are portrayed with high scores and, all these different things. So it's definitely dictated towards that. But also, it's so lopsided from a protection standpoint. We're protecting everybody, but in all reality, we're protecting the quarterbacks, right? Because they touch the ball every play, they make the most money. You're protecting your investment as an organization, as a team, right? But it sucks for defensive players because now it's like you don't know what's a real hit, you don't know what's accepted, you don't know how to stack quarterbacks. So for me, I watched the game and I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not playing anymore because I wouldn't know what to do. You can't fall on guys and all these different things, and then. Obviously there was a big issue with holding. About time they started calling it, but now people are mad that they're calling it, So it's just one of those situations as a defensive player, man. It's extremely hard. You do have to adapt, though. At the end of the day, it is your job. You're a professional athlete. You have to adapt. But they're making it extremely, extremely hard on these defensive players.
Yeah, it's only going to get harder, too, I think, as the money continues to grow in the fantasy world and also in sports gambling. These refs,
and gambling,
they're going to have the spotlight on them with these gambling because it's not just season ticket holders that are losing money because of bad things. And now everybody is in the game. Whenever your pocket's involved, everybody gets a little bit more tense. Speaking of pocket, as a man who's been in a couple different locker rooms, has been highly regarded in locker rooms as a good team guy, this Antonio Brown situation is so sad to me. It is a sad situation to me. I think Des Bryant put out a tweet, a statement basically saying, like, whenever somebody gets isolated, they feel the need to fight back even more than they ever have in the past. There's some terrible things being alleged against Antonio Brown. If those are true, I hope he gets a life sentence. But other than that, when it comes to just football and the way he's been handling himself with the NFL, is there any other feeling you have other than sadness and about how it's all working out to one of the world's greatest football players of all time, how it's all kind of melting down around him?
Exactly, and I think the big thing is as media folks and players and different things, the big thing is we have to be able to separate the two, right? We have to be able to separate all the crazy stuff that's going on with him and how he's kind of worked himself out of Pittsburgh and worked himself out of Oakland to get to the Patriots now and getting released by those guys to some of these different allegations, right? Because a lot of times when we're talking about it, we're talking as if both kind of go together and, if he did do this, he should be fired or he deserves it because of all the stuff he was doing in the NFL. And I don't think that's fair. I do think that there's a lot going on with AB right now, and he probably needs to get away from the game, to be honest with you, because personally, obviously there's some issues there. And then, being on three different teams in less than a year and having all this guaranteed money just disappearing, is pretty crazy to watch. I've never seen it done in the NFL. I've never seen somebody kind of control their destiny like that and also lose all this money like that as well. But I agree with you. If some of the stuff that he's done off the field is true or whatnot, he needs to pay for that stuff, and he definitely doesn't need to be in the NFL. But as a wide receiver, he's one of the best to ever do it. It's unfortunate we can't see him play anymore.
It's just,
we won't see him play, should I say.
It's sad. I think he needs to, take – how – sometimes when actors and actresses get caught up in something, they go to rehab. Even if they're not addicted to something, they just go to rehab to disappear for a little bit. They just go to kind of disappear, reset, say they did it. I think Antonio needs a reset right now. I don't know how you get that message to him. I don't know who's talking to him. But at some point, I think he needs a reset where he just kind of puts the phone down for a little bit, steps away, figures out his life again, and then comes back with what he wants to do. Maybe he doesn't want to play anymore. He said he doesn't want to play in the NFL ever again. Yeah. He said he wants to do this. He wants to do that. I'm so sad about it. I am honestly.
No, I agree. I think he definitely needs a reset. But more so than a reset, I think he needs to just change the people that are around him, right? Yeah. Because in all reality, there has to be better people in his corner telling him yay and nay, or, you know, you're not doing this right, or you need to do this wrong, or whatever the case may be. So he just needs to change some of it, and that might be the agent. That might be, you know, assistants, friends, whatever the case may be. But just getting a different team around him because they're not telling him the truth at the moment.
You know what's interesting? Everybody goes, well, he's an adult. He doesn't need people around him to make decisions. Well, I think the interesting thing about that is a lot of people that make it into the NFL and get put in a position with a lot of money and a lot of spotlight have zero experience with that growing up. Normally, it's the complete opposite, where they come from little to nothing and then they're handed everything. And then people are like, well, you should be financially disciplined. It's like, how am I supposed to be financially disciplined when I see 2 commas in my bank account and I've always wanted a Bentley? What do you want from me? It's very difficult to do that. And then whenever you get in these types of situations, you have people around you telling you the wrong things. It's hard not to trust that other people are making the right decisions for you, especially for Antonio. I hope he figures it out.
Yeah, man, you just hit it all on the head, man, because people tend to correlate finances with just understanding what's going on and all these different things. Well, in all reality, I mean, you're 22 years old. You went from being broke to having a couple $100,000, maybe a couple $1 million in your account, and people expect you to just know what to do with that. No, I grew up broke. Like, I'm trying to figure this process out. And unfortunately, you have to kind of add people to your team that you don't know or that you're supposed to trust, and then things can go south really quick. So, you know, it's just all about guys just hopefully being able to understand the process. But there's no blueprint to this whole process. There's no blueprint to understanding what to do with all the success all at once at such an early age.
Tweeting out against the owner is probably not the right move, though. I'm happy the blueprint has been figured out for that. What was the first awesome purchase you made? I remember when you were a highly sought-after free agent. I was hoping the Colts would go after you. We chose not to. You ended up in Seattle. When you got broken off, what was the first thing you bought? Anything awesome?
I'm fortunate to be able to bounce back, but I did something stupid, and I bought a Escalade, of course, and blue, what was it? Whatever the car cost. So at the time, it was the best purchase ever. Looking back at it, it was so stupid and ridiculous. But again, there's no blueprint to what you're supposed to do with your money. And unfortunately, most guys don't get to look back and say, man, that was a dumb purchase.
Cliff, I don't know how to tell you this. I don't think you made a dumb purchase there. I bought a Cadillac Escalade the day after I was drafted, pick 222. Literally, the day after I was drafted, I don't know when you were drafted, probably much higher than me, but I didn't think I fully understood what a signing bonus was because that thing didn't come into my bank account until 4 months later, and the bank almost repoed the Escalade. It was a wild scene.
Yes, and they don't teach you about taxes either now. They don't tell you, hey, what they say this is, half of that's gone, you know. So as a young player, you're going to make those mistakes.
I put 24s on my Escalade, too, as well, just by the way, because...
Yeah, I put 26s.
It was impossible to turn with the 24s because the wheel well couldn't handle it. I couldn't even fathom what the 26s were.
Yeah, a lot of rubbing going on. Cut up.
I'll never forget, I showed up at the practice facility with this blacked out Escalade on 24s. People had to think it was probably some DB or something, and I rolled out of there just hungover as hell. What's going on, boys? We here to kick footballs or not?
I've been there. I've had old heads come up to me like, listen, young man, you might not make the team, so hey, let's start with some of the purchases. And that's when I humbled myself. At that point, it was like, you know what? I need to relax. I need to sit back and maybe give you 26s up or something. But it was a learning experience, and I was fortunate enough to be able to bounce back from it.
Hey, good for you learning at that moment. I continued to world travel. I rode a camel in Morocco. I emptied my entire bank account after my rookie year. I was like, I might never get this money again. Let's go ahead and run right through it. The Patriots, and I always ask this to old players just because I think older players respect this a lot more than anybody. What Tom Brady has been able to do is just nothing short of fascinating. With how old he is, the ability to prepare and perform is next level. Do you have any takes on Tom Brady and why he's so good and how long he'll play for?
Man, Tom is incredible. He does so many different things right. On top of, I think, this is a joke, by the way, but I think he's in those meetings, when they have the rule meetings of what you can and how you can tackle quarterbacks. And I think he leads those meetings, right? Because he will play forever if they continue to keep changing these rules. But in all seriousness, though, I mean, he's an incredible quarterback. I've played against him numerous times and have nothing but respect for him. The fact that they can, no matter who they're facing, no matter who's on the other side of that ball, he's able to pick and choose and be able to dissect through that defense, and he understands the game of football. And on top of that, I mean, come on now, to win that many Super Bowls, which has never been done. I mean, it's hard. I mean, Hall of Fame players that play, 15 years never make it to a Super Bowl, let alone win some. To be able to win 6 Super Bowls and all that, like it's unheard of. It's crazy.
I have no idea where you're calling us from. That answer was incredible. You were breaking up every fourth word, but I want to let you know you're.
Oh man, sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault. It's probably ours, if I had to guess. Whenever you think about your career, who was a tackle that gave you problems? Like I assume, because every time Anthony Costanzo was a guy that I got to hang around a little bit, and all week whenever their offense is prepping and O-line's prepping, like, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that. Really, at the end of the day, he was isolated against their pass rusher. You were a pass rusher. Who was an offensive lineman that you remember going like, this dude is an animal. These meat hooks can knock it on me. He's a monster of a man.
And you know what's crazy? This guy wasn't even that aggressive per se or anything like that, but Joe Thomas, he was just a monster. Every time I played him, I felt like he jumped the snap count just as fast as I would. He wasn't aggressive, so that made it even harder for me because I'm not used to guys being passive aggressive in a football game. He just lets you do whatever you're going to do and just wash you right by the quarterback. Didn't give you hands, didn't give you anything to hit or anything like that. And he was just a technician. So those type of guys are the guys that I have a lot of respect for because they do a completely opposite of everyone else and still be able to be one of the best in the game that do it.
Well, Cliff, I'm sure a lot of offensive tackles are talking about you like this to their friends around a couple beers. I bet you Joe Thomas appreciates this, and I can damn well say that I appreciate the hell out of your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, 299 tackles in the NFL, a stud who lives in Seattle, Cliff Averill. Thank you so much, Cliff.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. We got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side with a little bit reaction to Cliff Averill there.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation. That Antonio Brown stuff is real, though, man.
It is.
Sad.
Big time.
Sad stuff. Watch a super talent like that go down. I don't know. We'll talk about it on the other side. You listen to the Pat McAfee Show. a little slow country here to wind down the day. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here worldwide, wide on DAZN and domestic here on Westwood One radio stations. A lot of conversation today. News just in, Cam Newton will not be playing this weekend after Kyle Allen throws for 400 yards or something like that this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The air raid offense from Texas. Was he from Texas? No, he was from Houston.
A&M and then went to Houston. Yep.
Yeah, but anyways, he did well. Have we seen the last of Cameron Newton on a football field?
It's possible. I mean, they're saying it's because of injury. They may just be, trying to kind of ease that blow a little bit. Kyle Allen may be their starter for, the rest of the season.
We mocked Kyle Allen last week hard.
Yep.
If we were to do takes on takes, my take would have been a wrong one. I said, why is Will Grier not playing the football? Then I got a chance to watch Kyle Allen just completely dominate this weekend for the Carolina Panthers. Also, Christian McCaffrey looked like he was back to life. Did Cam Newton's fun-sucking ruin the Carolina Panthers for a couple weeks, and is Kyle Allen bringing back an offense that was just resting in the weeds?
I don't think you can dispute it.
Can't
I really
dispute
don't.
it. Saquon Barkley out a few weeks, they said, probably a month, sprained ankle, kind of the same thing. Don't want to rush him back. Now, unless Daniel Jones and the boys get on a hot run here, don't need him right now. Not going to make the playoffs this year, probably. Let's just go ahead and rule this one as a punt of a season. But it would be nice to get Saquon back out there for the last 10 weeks of the season because get a glimpse of the future there. Daniel Jones and Saquon in the backfield. Daniel Jones, by the way, 6'5",
Mm-hmm.
athlete.
Big time.
Had no idea. I guess Jay Billis was his AAU basketball coach.
Really?
Jay Billis was the reason why he got into Duke, why he played at Duke. Jay Billis said he was the guy that they put on the other team's toughest player, and they had 2 players on that team go to the NBA.
Wow.
So Jay Billis, I guess, in the ESPN world, it's because Jay Billis is in ESPN, he murmured things about Daniel Jones to a lot of people, Rex Ryan being one of them. That's why Rex Ryan was all the way on his team early. Rex Ryan said the day after the draft, like, this is a good draft pick. That research there is something I did not know. I probably should have done more of. Daniel Jones is a freak. And I guess the world is about to learn that.
I think they should maybe, when Saquon gets back and healthy, they should put in some sort of option package. I didn't realize he was, Hasselbeck told us last week, like, this guy's actually a very good runner. Maybe throw the option in there.
I think the right move would be get him hit as much as possible. Let's get him completely banged up so Eli Manning can ride off into the sunset with a wave of success here this particular year. I don't know. The Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. That's awesome. They might never lose again. Overreaction Monday. How you doing? Lamar Jackson is about to be a great quarterback again. Let's not overreact. But just because him and Roman aren't on the same page yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs that seemed to be unbeatable, by the way. Tyreek Hill is out. All of a sudden, they bring in a guy named Hardman. Mm-hmm. He runs 21 miles an hour. They look unstoppable. The New England Patriots will be able to handle whatever comes their way, but are they peaking too early? Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott went into Miami in slaughterhouse because Dak Prescott's looking for a couple $100 million. I love everything that's happening in the NFL. I think the world should as well. It's the most interesting piece of TV of all time. The Emmys were on last night.
They were.
I didn't even think about turning it over, and that Rams-Browns game was terrible.
I agree. And I'm a movie TV guy. Didn't care.
Not a single bit. No. Why would they even think about doing that?
I don't know. A, they didn't give any promo that it was going to be on, and then B, the show usually stinks.
All those award shows stink. This show might have stunk as well. Who knows? Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow from Indianapolis. You've been listening to the Pat McAfee Show.